it's Jules from Squamish Climate Action Network. Today on part 2 of the Zero Waste Wednesdays video series, I'm going to show you how to make beeswax wraps. Now, beeswax wraps are a really awesome item for your home. They will really help you to reduce single-use plastics or any of those items around your house. I use mine for just about everything, you know, whether it be to cover salad bowls or as a replacement for cling wrap or for snack packs or Ziploc bags, whatever it is. I have totally converted to these now. And I carry them with me just about anywhere. Sometimes if I run into a coffee shop, I bring my beeswax wrap with me and I ask them to put it on my beeswax wrap, as long as that's allowed at the store. And then I just use that as my to-go baggie instead. And so they've been a really awesome item. And another great thing is they're really, really easy to make. So today I'm going to show you how to make them yourself. And so you only need a few items, as per a lot of these recipes for you guys. So I'll show you what I have. The first thing you're going to need is some fabric. I recommend, go to your local thrift store. Go to, a quilt shop if you have it. And, I just find basically some of the cheapest fabric I can. I don't think it needs to look pretty. These ones are pretty, and these are kind of just some examples I have of fabric sitting around. But yeah, it doesn't need to look super nice. You can make them look really cute if you want to, but they definitely don't have to be. And I recommend getting a fabric that's kind of as thin as possible. You definitely do not want to be making beeswax wraps out of flannel. Don't do that. But yeah, you can basically just use what you want, and the thinner the better, because the more malleable the beeswax wrap will be and the more the wax will penetrate it as well. So first thing you need is some fabric. The other thing you're going to need is beeswax, and I highly recommend buying a block of beeswax. So there are such things as beeswax pellets, and those are great. So they're pre-made little pellets, but a couple downsides: they're usually quite expensive, and they also are in packaging. And so every time I have bought a beeswax block, it has been package free, which is great. Super easy to make it into your own pellet. You just use a cheese grater. You do have to wash it, but you have to wash it for everything else anyways. And I just grate it, and then I have kind of my own fine little pellets of beeswax. So yeah, you're gonna save money by doing this, and you're gonna save the packaging too. So just a beeswax block like this, and they go a long way. I've made, you can see mine has been used, and I've used it for quite a few. I think I made like 25 beeswax wraps, and I didn't even get close to using it up. So that's your other item. Cheese grater. Use a cutting board or something to grate your wax if you want. And then you're going to use a pan as well, but I will show you that when we get to it. And so I'll show you kind of the different things you can do with beeswax wraps. So what I'm gonna walk you guys through today is making these. I'm not gonna cut the fabric for you today. I'm actually gonna re-wax mine because they're in need of a wax. And so basically you can cut the fabric into any shape you want, as big as you want, as small as you want. These ones I just made kind of into a nice little square like this, enough to kind of cover a bowl or wrap something in it nicely. Yeah, so you just cut your fabric into any shape you want, any size, and like even with this one, you can see like I have the end of the fabric there. I didn't even cut it off because I was like, why would I? I'm gonna get a little bit more in there. And then you can get them as small as this as well. So I actually bought this beeswax wrap. It's a Bego. I think they were the first company to actually make beeswax wraps, which was really cool. And lots of people are making them now too, which is great. So you can, support your local artists as well. And then another thing I've done, which I really love, is making little to-go baggies like this. So I just basically cut it into like a long skinny strip like this. And you're gonna wax the beeswax wrap first, which I'll show you how to do. And then when it's all dried, you're basically gonna fold it up, hold it like this. And what I did is I just hand sewn it, and it's, it's not the greatest job, but I just did the edges like this. And then you have a little baggie. And these are great. Like I make my partner take these to work, and he puts nuts in them or baby carrots or basically anything, cookies, whatever it is. They're a really great little pack. And even sometimes I'll use them in the fridge too. Like sometimes we'll even stick like a cucumber in it and then wrap them up this way. So, and they're, you know, they're really malleable. They'll stay in the shape that you want them to stay in, which is awesome because it's exactly like cling wrap without the plastic. So there's your different types of shapes. And so what you're gonna do to get started, set the oven to 350 degrees and get out your fabric, cut your fabric into whichever shape you want, and start grating your wax into your own little pellets. So I'm gonna do that, and then I will come back and I'll show you the next step. Ta-da, all done. So yeah, I finished now grating the beeswax, and I'll show you kind of what it looks like. It looks like grated cheese, basically. So I haven't done too much because I'm just re-waxing. If you are fully waxing them, it's kind of up to your discretion, but you'll know kind of when you're actually seeing them in the oven whether or not they're going to need another layer, and it's really easy to just go back through. I think the first time I made them I had to do it a couple times just because I misjudged how much to put on there, but yeah, definitely be generous with it. So yeah, so that is all grated, and now I have a little bit of a confession. So with the beeswax wraps, it's not perfectly zero waste because I do use some tin foil or aluminum foil or parchment paper to make them, because I don't want it getting on my pans because the hot wax is really hard to get off. And you do have to flip over your beeswax wrap as well. So I try to reuse every little bit of the aluminum or parchment paper that I use in this process, because I make them again and again and again, and I just put them in my little craft corner or wherever I'm storing it. So yeah, and you know what, that's just part of the process. It's not going to be perfect, nothing is, but we're trying our best, and in the long run these beeswax wraps are, you know, really meant to reduce these single-use items as well. So that's my confession for you guys. So I have the aluminum foil down on my pan, and then I just laid out the beeswax wrap right on top of it. And it's really easy. You are just gonna basically take your wax and you are gonna sprinkle it on. And, you know, try to get the edges as best as you can. If you can't, that is okay. So yeah, I'm just sprinkling that on this. I'm gonna try to leave, you know, half of it. I can always grate more. That's the easy thing, right? So I've sprinkled it on. I wasn't too generous because once again, I'm just re-waxing mine. So yeah, I just sprinkled it on there, and then all you're gonna do is you're gonna pop it in the oven. So once again, the oven is at 350 degrees. You're gonna pop it in, and honestly, it takes like 2 minutes. I would keep your eye on it. As soon as it gets, as soon as it's melted, basically, you are going to take it out and flip it over. And I just flip it over right on the pan, and then you're gonna sprinkle the other side, and you're gonna put it back in, but I can show you, and then I will show you how to dry them as well, okay? All right, the first side is melted. So what I've done is I flipped it over, and you can use tongs. I just grabbed it with my fingers, but don't do that because it could burn you. So use your tongs. So I flipped it over, and then same thing. Use the rest of your beeswax, sprinkle it on. I'm gonna get my shirt in here. This. Try to get as close to the edge as you can. There we go. Okay, and something that I wanted to say too, a lot of people too will grab like a spoon or a knife or something and spread it while it's still hot, like right when it's fresh out of the oven. Mine are actually doing okay, I think, because they've already been waxed, but that's a good way to kind of spread it through and saturate it. And once again, if you realize once they're dry there's not enough wax on it, you can just add more wax really easy. So same thing, you've now waxed the other side. We're gonna pop it in the oven. Took way less than 2 minutes, by the way. It was like a couple seconds, probably like 30 seconds or something like that. And then we're gonna pull it out and I will show you how to dry them, which is really easy too. So I will see you guys for that. So let's pop this in. Okay, I'll see you in a couple seconds. All right, so last step is to dry it. And as you can see, I have a very technical, very difficult way of drying. Not. I put 4 glasses on a cutting board, or you can put it on the pan or whichever. And I put my beeswax wrap on top to let it dry. And I do have a tip though, to avoid getting like lots of waxy residue on your glasses. As you're transferring it with your tongs, mine's not hot anymore, I wave it like this just a couple times and the wax won't spray anywhere. I haven't found that, but do it maybe over a cutting board or something. And by the time you do that, it will already have started to dry. Flip it over. Let it dry, and like this is still hot, but it's already crisping up nicely. And yeah, and you can use anything. You could use a box you have lying around, or I don't know, anything you have. I just use glasses because that's all I really have. So yeah, that is what you do. And then I would give it. You definitely do not need 24 hours at all, but I just find I just wait the night and then I use them the next day. So yeah, because this one's basically already dry. Like you don't need 24 hours. You can feel them, make sure they're not hot, and then you're good to go. And as you can see, I'm not sure if you remember, but I will show you what my other beeswax wrap looked like. This was the one that needed to be re-waxed. Hopefully you can see the wax peeling off. And this is this brand new shiny beeswax wrap, which looks amazing. So yeah, and I guess a good tip for you guys too would be how to wash them. All you're gonna use is a little bit of dish soap and a light little scrubby. I have a dishwash bar, and then I just have this little scrubby, so I just get a little bit of soap on there. Just be really gentle. Just rub it around. Don't put them in your dishwasher. Hand wash only for sure. But yeah, just a little scrub and then just let them dry and they're good to go. And yeah, when you start to notice the wax kind of starting to peel a little bit, then maybe it's time for a new wax. But besides that, if you follow this super easy little recipe, you are gonna have some beeswax wraps. You are gonna save lots of single-use plastics, and you're gonna be able to show all your friends too.